Good evening or good day. This is Bear, joining you for another one of the Director's Commentary videos. Last time we went over part 4 in the series, so starting today this will be number 5, and then number 6, and for part 7 I have something a bit larger planned, so stay tuned for that one. Additionally, if you'd like to keep track of all my new uploads and any channel updates, hit the subscribe button. And a couple of quick details here, actually. As you can see, this isn't back at my parents' house. This is a place we went to for a winter break. And I actually just commandeered one of the rooms and spent the whole week in here filming the video. And this is actually the first time I've used this material for the street, which I use in part 6 as well. It's actually just shingles, house shingles, with the tar ones that look like sandpaper on one side. I basically just flipped it over depending upon what I wanted the ground to look like. So that's what the floor is here. And real quick on this effect here, I believe I was using Windows Live Movie Maker at the time, which I believe this was Windows 7. On this one, it's just a sepia tone filter, so I just filmed it as normal and applied that to those frames. And real quick, I believe this is the first time I started using the webs with hot glue on them. So, as you can see there on Venom's hand, and that becomes a staple for these next few episodes, for the webs I should say. And this will come up more in episode 7, these little camera tricks that I used, but it's not as pronounced here. But if you take a photo with a slightly longer exposure, I didn't do it manually here, but the way you would do that is you can adjust the settings. So to give this motion blur effect, I literally just shook the camera when I took the photos, so to give it this look like he's been concussed, so to speak. And at this point, I want to say I was using the Canon PowerShot. Yeah, doing that pull focus. I use a DSLR now, the Rebel T3i, so it's a lot easier to do. But this is, I want to say, the first time I actually pulled this off, so something of note.
I don't know how you're still alive, but this time, you won't survive.
Go ahead and try to stop us.
And to make the webs that are not just a straight line, I basically just place some fishing line down and on top of usually a metal surface, so it's easier to peel off. You can actually check one of my tutorial videos over here when you get a chance, but essentially I would just draw out the shape of what I wanted and then use the fishing line and hot glue to trace it out. So that's how I get shapes like this. And two things here. I believe this symbiote tendril I made out of some, I think it was just electrical wiring that I wrapped in electrical tape and then used hot glue to accent the textures there. So as far as I'm aware, that's what I did with this one. And here's actually one of the first Discord questions was, what was the fake blood made out of? At the time, I was watching videos from channels like Indie Mogul, and I believe this would have been red food coloring, cornstarch, and a bit of corn syrup. If I had to guess, that's what I was using at this time. Episode 7, I actually used something different, but we'll, touch on that later.
You should have finished this while you still had a chance, Parker.
For the scenes where one of the characters is bleeding, I would generally just take a paintbrush and every frame just drip a little extra onto the surface. In this case, I probably should have used quite a bit more food coloring just to, on the cardboard, it looks a little more translucent than I would have liked, but you learn as you go along.
You should have finished this while you still had a chance, Parker. You leave a pretty easy trail to follow, Parker.
One of the Discord users asked if I was doing all the voices at this time, Spider-Man, Venom, and next episode is Carnage. Up until episode 7, where I did get one new voice actor, which we'll cover that when we get there. Yeah, up until next episode, those 3, Carnage, Venom, and Spider-Man, those are all me as well.
You really think you can escape us? There's nowhere in the world where we won't find you. We're still alive, Parker.
And I'm pretty sure I stole that sound effect from Ridley Scott's Alien. Might be a copyright issue there, but I believe that's what that's from. Now we can jump over to a few more of the comments from the Discord. This is actually 2 separate questions from 2 different viewers, but I think it's worth answering them at the same time. The first one being, are there any other superheroes in this universe? Say, Fantastic Four, Iron Man, the Avengers? And the second question is, how did Venom get taken to Rikers when he did just regenerate after this and still had the symbiote when he would have been captured? The answer to both of those is, yes, there are some superhero organizations at this point in the series. The Avengers are not assembled, but S.H.I.E.L.D. is active. Essentially, yes, after Venom was beaten down to a pulp. Essentially, like this commenter theorized, the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were able to take Venom into custody, separate him from the symbiote, and that was how they were actually able to finally capture him, take him to Rikers, which we'll cover that more as we go over to episode 6. And then just a couple of odds and ends questions to answer from the Discord as well. One of the commenters asked how I was first introduced to Carnage and Venom. The first time I would have seen them at all would definitely be the 1990s animated series. Shortly thereafter that, turning to YouTube and watching videos about the comics or other stop-motion creators, and also games like, say, Web of Shadows, of course. Those would probably be the first times I ever saw these characters. And the most important question of all, what is my favorite Spider-Man movie? So, going over, say, Raimi films 1, 2, and 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and the MCU Spider-Man movies, as well as I think I'll include the animated ones in the list, the Spider-Verse. This is probably a cliche answer, but I think Spider-Man 2 is probably my favorite, as well as just the most well-made out of all of them. Just comparing it to what happened moving forward from the first movie out of Sam Raimi's trilogy, the special effects improved fairly dramatically, the soundtrack still wonderful, Danny Elfman as per usual. All the actors did stellar jobs. The writing for all the characters, Spider-Man having very significant internal conflicts to deal with, managing his life as Peter and his heroism as Spider-Man. It's what I would basically call the perfect Spider-Man movie. I'd have to really watch it carefully to see if I had any issues with it. In summary, I would say it's probably the best one there is. Spider-Man 1 probably next in line. The first Spider-Verse movie was also extremely well made, so I'd probably, if I had to pick a top 3, it's probably those, but, maybe one day I'll go watch all of them on a weekend and revisit this. And to wrap up with some more announcements, I finally finished building the set that I was working on for the next scene, so I can take a break from the extensive editing I've been working on and go back to filming. I'll put a few screenshots up here as far as what the set looks like. You'll be seeing probably a lot of this when I release the next teaser trailer. Someone recently did put some funds towards the Ko-Fi goal of purchasing the parts to fix my 3D printer. I used it to make a lot of the furniture and the apartment sequences, so if you saw the teaser trailer too, you might have seen a lot of that. So I won't name drop you, just in case you wish to remain anonymous, but you know who you are, and I offer you my great thanks. On top of that, I will be making a very long director's commentary for Part 7, because I will be doing it with the voice actor for Spider-Man and Carnage. That one might take a little longer to get out, because it'll take a bit of time for us to go ahead and find some time to sit down and watch the video. It's not a super long video, but we'll probably pause it every 3.5 seconds while we're watching it to make some commentary about it. Yeah, and essentially to summarize, check the Discord if you want some more frequent updates, and check out the Ko-Fi if you want to help support the channel. Thank you all for watching, and wherever you are, I hope you have a good rest of your day.